The third item needing consideration today is consider approving a resolution authorizing the submission of a ballot issue for the November 5th, 2024 general election for a voter-approved revenue change to allow the county to retain and spend all revenue that exceeds the county's 2023 TABOR revenue limit in the amount of $11,492,270 to be used for county roads. This resolution would also permit the county to reset its TABOR base beginning in 2024 and each year thereafter, as permitted by TABOR. We do have Todd Starr, County Attorney, to present this morning. Good morning, Todd.
Commissioners, Todd Starr, Mesa County Attorney. For the board is a resolution authorizing the submission of a ballot issue to the electors in November 2024, which seeks the approval of the county's eligible electors to allow the county to retain the TABOR surplus for 1 year for the purpose of funding county roads and infrastructure. Unfortunately, again, this too was labeled as a ballot question and should have been labeled as a ballot issue. So your motion will be as amended. And Mr. Bear has more information on the details of the issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Pete Bear, Mesa County Administrator.
Laura Page, Mesa County Engineering Division Director.
So before you is a ballot question to, as mentioned by County Attorney Starr, to ask the voters to retain the 2023 TABOR excess over of $11,492,270 to be used for county road maintenance. And we'll go into some of the things that we can do with that and why we believe it's critical that we secure additional funding to help with our infrastructure investment we currently have. So if this passes, the county roads will receive critical repairs, enhancing their overall condition, extending their lifespan, again, without raising taxes. We're not talking about raising taxes. We're talking about the excess TABOR revenue that would be refunded, but we would like to keep it for road maintenance activities. I'm going to let Laura talk a little bit about what PCI is and an improvement of 15 to 20, what that would mean to our system. But Laura.
Thank you, Pete. Mesa County in 2020 started our asset management program where we started going in and rating our roads. We had them surveyed and we use what's called a PCI, Pavement Condition Index, which is an industry standard that goes from 0 to 100. Currently, our roads are about 72. That value changes pretty much daily as either the road deteriorates or our guys go out and maintain the roads. So our goal is to keep our network overall at that manageable 72 to 75, which is in the good range. The reason these PCI scores are important is as well.
Sure, I think we're going to
that later. Sorry.
Yep, we have a slide on what happens if you let a road deteriorate and what will go there. So suffice to say, the PCI is an index that is industry standard that we evaluate our roads every couple of years. We have a ground penetrating radar and other means via a van that rides our roads and looks for cracks, looks for potholes, looks for deterioration of the road in the base and generates a report. So it's scientifically done of how we look at these roads and how that works out. So if the voters do pass it, what they would be foregoing is a TABOR refund. Approximately $123 is what we would estimate at this point. That could change slightly depending on the total number of folks that are eligible for that. If it does pass, again, it's about 11.5 million rounding. The money would be used for road construction improvements, bridge reinforcement, chip sealing, crack sealing, and pothole repair. And I will say the road improvements and maintenance of our existing road system is the highest priority, meaning some surface treatments on our roads to protect them and keep them in much better shape as we move through. So I should also mention again, I reiterated, but we're asking for a 1-year reprieve on that and for the 2023 year refund. Why do we need this? Since 2019, inflation has hit our entire economy, but in particular on road costs, we've seen increases of 50 to 100%, and we're able to do much less with the funding we have, which is generally driven by gas tax and other components, as far as protecting our investment and resurfacing our roads and keeping a good surface for our citizens. Cost of binder has jumped considerably in those couple preceding 4 to 5 years. and even the engineering consultant fees we've seen. So just like the rest of the economy, in particular in some of the road maintenance activities, we've seen a considerable jump in the prices of the product we use, and we're able to do less with the funding we have. This is, well, let Laura talk to this briefly. It's a little bit busy, but suffice to say, if you let your roads get to a certain point of deterioration, it's considerably more to fix it than if you were to put the pavement and seal them at this point in time. But so.
Yeah. Yes, if we use this money from the ballot initiative to go in and keep our good roads good, research has shown that for about every dollar you spend now in preventive maintenance will save us anywhere from $12 to $50 in rehabilitation or reconstruction. An example of that is to keep a road in a good excellent condition using slurry seals and crack sealing. That costs about $2 to $3 a square yard. However, if you let that road decline into fair condition, the costs increase to about $8 to $24 a square yard. The $8 corresponding to the Cape seals that we are trying to out for the first time this year, to $24 a square yard for an overlay. Worse yet is if that road ends up falling into the poor category, which is a PCI below 55, then we're looking at having to do a full reconstruction. And those costs run anywhere from $50 to $100 a square yard. So with these cost increases, it's just getting more and more. So we really need to keep these roads where they're at now in that good to fair condition and not let them continue to fall. We're sitting right now at that cusp of bottom line good. And once they start falling, then they fall fast.
One other thing I should mention, Laura touched on it. It's not as if we're just continuing to do the same old business and not trying to stretch our dollars farther. She mentioned Cape Seal, something engineering department has applied the last 2 years, I believe. So they're always looking for ways to stretch those dollars farther and make the roads better. But even with that, the resources with the inflation we've seen are not going as far as we'd like to see them go. So, and again, as we mentioned before, this is a ballot issue being asked the board to place that on the ballot to let the voters decide whether or not this TABOR refund for 1 year we would be able to keep and use for road maintenance and road activities. And as mentioned previously, again, when we talk about roads, we talk about a way for our citizens to communicate back to us on the roads and the systems. It's great eyes and ears they have out there. Many times they'll see a sign down before we're aware of it, and then we'll call in and we'll be able to get out there and replace it quickly for safety and or a pothole forming or water seeping the various, we get this. So we highly encourage that. And or just rideability that they see in their neighborhood. If it's deteriorating, we want to know about that. So again, these are here. As mentioned, we do have a website. The Road Review Reporter is on there also, where folks can put their issue in. And if it's not a county road, we will pass it along to the right agency. So thank you very much for the consideration.
Discussion for the board.
Yeah, I'll jump in on this one. First of all, Road and Bridge does a phenomenal job with the money they have. I'm constantly told that 4 or 5 years ago, they could probably chip and seal overlay close to double the roads they could with the same percentage of budget today based on inflation. So inflation is absolutely killing our guys out there. And they're not able to service the roads like they used to, which reflects not on their ability to do it, but on our ability to fund it. And so this is a TABOR question. And we would like the ability to take this close to $11.5 million out and start servicing our roads. There's this cliff that at one point when your pavement condition deteriorates so far, it's like a cliff. It doesn't continue to gradually go out. It falls off a cliff, and then the road is basically a complete rebuild of roads, which can be billions of dollars to our entire system. So it is an investment from the community. They would otherwise receive close to $122 in a TABOR check, but the cost to them could even be greater. I mean, the national automotive industry suggests that when a road deteriorates less than a rating of 60 below the pavement condition, The average cost to a vehicle per year is about $500 to $600 in Colorado. So as we see roads continue to deteriorate without the funds to replace them, this could cost drivers and voters a lot more money than $122 a year. And again, we're asking them to invest. We're asking for a little bit more of their money to maintain our roads for the future. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, I won't take very long either. As was shared in this presentation, as Commissioner Davis just mentioned, since 2019, the costs have increased by 50 to 100%. Historically, we have resurfaced over 20 miles a year, and the last a couple of years, it's been limited to 7 to 9 miles. So that's a significant cut. I liked what Laura had to say. By getting ahead and improving the roads from good or fair to excellent, it will actually decrease the ongoing maintenance costs. So improving good to excellent conditions, that's 25,000 to 100,000 per mile. If the road falls to the fair condition, that's going to cost us $300,000 per mile. And then if it goes down to the poor condition, it could need that full reconstruction of 600,000. So the better the roads are, the cheaper it is to continue maintain them. And I'd also mention at the same time this has happened and the costs have increased, we have experienced the ratchet effect of our TABOR cap. So in 2018, the revenue that Mesa County received that was subject to TABOR was 107 million. By 2020, that had dropped to 87 million, as it should, because it followed the economy. Now the economy is back up and we are still not back up to that revenue of 107 million, not because we didn't receive the revenue, but because we have that 5.5% cap from TABOR. So we refunded $13 million a couple of years ago. If we refund the 11.5 million this year, that's $24 million that we will have refunded. And yet we are not back up to the same spending level this year that we were in 2018. So this proposition, I believe, would not only get our roads back on track, but would get our county budget back on track and in alignment with the economy. We should go down when the economy goes down, and we should go back up when they do, so we can meet the needs of the citizens.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just add that our gas tax, we're not seeing the bang for our buck that we used to because of inflation. The gas tax has not kept up with inflation. That gas tax is something from the state of Colorado that we receive for road maintenance. So that is part of the equation when it comes to funding. Asking our voters to invest in their TABOR savings is something that we want to consider. If they want to see an investment in their roads, we should be able to give them the opportunity to let their voice be heard on this issue. And what we have seen in our revenues, when the rest of the state was facing high property taxes, what we were able to do is lower our mill levy. And we did that to save our taxpayers a lot of money and just help ease that burden. So what the influx, the increased revenues that we are seeing is more from sales tax. And that sales tax is from county residents, that's from visitors that come here and they do use our roads and our infrastructure. So this does make sense to ask the voters and if they want to use that investment to invest in their roads. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the public has to say on this issue. And we just want to make sure that they have an opportunity to pitch in to make Mesa County a little bit better to drive on. And the roads are such a huge investment that our taxpayers have paid over generations. And we want to see if this is something that they would want to invest in. So I'm fully in support of putting this on the ballot. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the item as amended into the record.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Great.